Hello everybody and welcome to another list video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 deck building pet peeves that we have for Arkham Horror, the card game. Pardon?
5 of them.
That's my pet peeve, you doing it like that.
Good.
What the heck? Alright, let's go with our first one here, which is trying to have a plan for everything.
I'm just glad he didn't take off his socks this time.
Yeah. It's just like, why did like his feet on the table? That would be so good. Travis, I'll let you take this one for at least starting the point for this one.
So sometimes I see people asking for help with decks or just posting decks or whatever, but their decks have a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't contribute to the overall plan, their overall game plan of their deck. They're building it like they will need to solve every problem themselves. Or have a plan to solve every possible problem themselves, and that's not good. You show up with your Seeker deck where you have a suite of cards that'll help you investigate and get clues well, but then you've also got Mind Over Matter in case you need to evade enemies, and I've got a plan in case you need to fight enemies, and you've got Forewarn in case you draw a bad encounter deck card, and then you've got Logical Reasoning in case someone gets stuck with Frozen in Fear, takes too much horror, and then you've also got Strange Solution, the healing variant, because in case someone takes too much heart damage and it just dilutes your deck and breaks it down, and it's not good.
Yeah. So,
counterpoint. Sometimes you do want to have solutions to some of these very niche problems because they suck for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you've only got 5 heart damage that you can take, and the campaign has, Grasping Hands in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine to have a solution for
not all
the
of
things
them.
that are problems.
Yeah, don't bring
your weaknesses
everything.
is good. But if you show up with Investigator who has 9 Sand, you don't need, and 4 Brain, you don't need Logical Reasoning in your deck.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where your deck becomes tighter, and it also allows for you to do more fun things if you kind of just try not to worry about solving every issue that comes up. But for example, if you're Harvey Walters, it's not wasted space to find ways to soak damage or heal damage, right?
Not just explode to your thrice damned curiosity.
But with Harvey Walters, you then don't need to tap into other things because of that. You just need to find the thing you're most weakness about, or alternatively, you don't need to run a lot of enemy management, but some enemy management is fine. Or you can just run an Unexpected Courage to be both your Mythos protection and your
in case you do evade enemy.
Your evade enemy. Even though it's less efficient, it's less deck slots, right? So it's kind of the balance that comes with this. So for this pet peeve on this list right here, it's not having multiple options to deal with multiple things is bad, but it's when the scales are out of whack, that's when it becomes kind of more of an issue.
Yeah, it's when you're sacrificing efficiency of executing your game plan to try and respond reactively to the games. Yeah. Especially when you're being more efficient. If you can end the scenario sooner, then some of those issues aren't going to be relevant.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
For example, as a very extreme example, you could load your deck up with a whole bunch of horror stuff. You're like, what if I draw through my deck 12 times in the scenario? But if you just spent your time getting all those cards and resources, getting clues instead, you're never going to have that issue.
And realistically too, you're going to be safer than you think, because this kind of goes out the window for solo, but we don't talk about solo here. It's cursed ground. But you have other teammates who can help you. There's variance in the encounter deck, and also things do hit harder than you expect, and also it allows you to do more fun things, right? Turn that Mind Over Matter into some.
Oh no.
That's not a fire alarm, right?
No, I think it is. I'm gonna check. All right, no one's dead. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. What were we talking about? I think it's just have more fun. It's less survival and less contingency plans means room for more fun things that you can be doing as well, right? Yeah. Sick. All right, next one we got here is Sled Dogs and/or Jim Culver, which is alternately. Oh my god.
The end of the video.
The end of the video is alternately playing bad cards at the expense of your teammates. Yeah. So this doesn't mean you can't play bad cards. Mm-hmm. You can play cards that are generally considered or commonly considered at your own play group or the community as a whole to be bad, but you need to like be aware of that, and you need to make up for that in terms of either consistency or other powerful cards to help mitigate or balance the badness of those cards.
Yeah, we talked about this in the learning to play deck building, or Jank. What is it called? Jank?
Yeah.
Where you can't have bad cards and then support them with bad cards and expect your deck to do well.
Mm-hmm.
You can play bad cards, but you need to support them with good cards to make them as good as they can be. And like you can also just play good cards and support them with bad cards for that, but you can't have your your payoff and your setup be bad cards because your deck is just bad. And then it's not fun for your teammates because they have to sit there and suffer and lose because of the choices that you made. It would have been good
if I just drew my 4th Sled Dog.
This actually isn't a personal thing, Bryn. I know it probably sounds like it, especially with the Sled Dogs on the slide before, but this was not directed at you.
Yeah, I mean, like, playing bad cards and supporting them with good cards is much more fun than playing bad cards to support good cards, because, like...
If you're playing bad economy to play the flamethrower and torch things, you're still just playing the flamethrower.
Yeah, like, why not just do it good?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But if you're playing, like, good economy to play something weird, like, I don't know, maybe you're playing a Shining Trapezohedron pile, and you're like, this is going to be metal as fuck.
Yeah, you just want to try it out, but you just, like, make sure it's supported.
Like, yeah, make sure you got the cards to find your Shining Trapezohedron, because you probably don't want to or can't buy 2. I don't know. One of those
you
things.
gotta have like some Uncaged the Souls emergency caches in there.
Like you want to be able to like actually play the game.
Yeah, like activate Shine Trapezohedron.
Yeah,
my card. I failed the test. I don't play my card. I do nothing. Like
yeah. I mean, it might mean like playing some weird splits of effects. Like instead of playing 2 Shrivelings, maybe you're playing a Shriveling and like an Armageddon or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're like, so if the Shriveling doesn't work, I can just play the Armageddon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, vice versa.
Yeah. To me, this also kind of this is just one of those things that like I think now, especially with the card pool, pretty much like anything is possible, right? Mm. So like if you are
Sled Dogs and Jim.
No, I mean I'll agree with Jim, but I mean like Leo can actually like build an efficient Sled Dog
pretty
team.
Good at it.
I did it, and I got 4 every scenario, right?
Yeah,
like it's doable. I believe
you can, especially with friends in low places.
Yeah.
you can put that together.
But like it's one of those things that you just need to like be aware of it, and like really when we were making this video, my pet peeve was kind of just like be good, right? And it's kind of like one of those things you
don't be bad.
You have to kind of like if you want to build around something silly, just do it well, right? Mm-hmm. Like don't just be silly at just the idea of being silly. Support that by kicking ass and showing everyone you're awesome doing it.
Yeah, it's not so fun when your friends show up. When people are playing with, they might not be your friends. But they show up to play ARKHAM, and you're like, I'm here to be bad and not do anything. And they're kind of like, okay, mm-hmm. like I guess I won't have fun then.
Yeah.
Like, you are playing with other people.
All right. Next one we got here is not having enough economy or having too much economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For too much, the card draw is not really such a problem. It's more the resource generation. It's hard to have too much card draw.
Yeah. Unless like all your card draw is like action card draw, and you're just spending your time like just drawing cards and like not
as your action.
Yeah, that's all my cards.
No, I don't mean like the basic action. I mean like you're playing like blast. Like you're playing like what is the deep knowledge. You're also playing the
monster sketches.
Yeah, you're also playing like you're just playing all of it, right? Like, and it's like if your card draw is more varied in how you approach it, right? Because like but also at the same time, if all your card draw just leads into more card draw and you're just committing it to tests, just change it into other things.
There has to be something at the end, but
yeah, that's the thing, right? But like too much economy, I think you can go way too much. Easier on the resource side.
But not having enough economy is the real issue here.
Yes. Let's not get sidetracked.
There's a reason that's not the one that's in brackets.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on like how much is too much. Like, if all your cards just get resources and draw cards, then your deck doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Even if like you've got a couple of cards, but the rest of your deck is like card draw and resources, you're going to spend most of your game doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Not having enough, at least you'll get there eventually. Probably. You know, like you can take an emergency cash turn if you need to, but you can't turn an emergency cash into a good turn without cards that do that.
Most of the economy cards will do other things. Most of them commit for skills, really. So they do something.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
I mean, like, really, this
Most
comes. I think this kind of comes to like the triangle. Everyone loves the deck building
We
triangle.
do love the deck building pyramid.
And like, you gotta have it's the balance that comes with it. But I do like. I think that like ultimately, yes, your deck can survive if you have too much or too little, right? Like your deck can probably get there, but
It's not going to be good.
It's one of those things. I think it's more common to also see less economy because people can mitigate that by, as you know, like taking basic actions to draw cards and gain resources if needed.
Fun. Economy cards aren't interesting usually. They're not fun and flashy.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't fit these 4 sled dogs into my deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or can I?
And this one's actually fairly easily mitigated. I think at least part of the reason that Faustian Bargain and Deep Knowledge are so popular, and Promise Power to a certain extent as well. If they printed the same cards without the curse downside, but you can only use them on your tests, or give yourself the resources or cards, I think we'd probably still play the curse ones. Just because having that flexibility to dig someone else out of a hole if they had a bad draw in their economy, or like they just, had a bit of a brain fart while they were deck building, didn't end up with enough economy, or if you screwed up yours a little bit and you end up with too much economy, you can just give it to someone else, right?
Yeah.
It's a very nice sort of lever to have to be able to tweak that within your play group. And there's the new ones from
The double action ones. From
Bank Job and
Unlock.
Thorough Inquiry.
Yeah, like they're good too.
Yeah, and Promise of Power digs you. It's not money or cards.
It's a different problem. It's you didn't think about what to do when you drew a Frozen in Fear?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Your Finn's just like, I can't ever get rid of this
Yeah.
Well, good thing I have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different kind of problem.
Similar idea, but different problem.
That's like back to our first one. Like, man, if you got one brain, maybe you have a plan to do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but it does mean that playing cards like Faustian Bargain or Bank Job to a lesser extent, because 2 actions is much less free than 1, is largely free in deck building because it doesn't have to be you who takes the resources. It can be somebody else. So like if you draw it and maybe it's your second one or whatever and you can't use those resources, man, somebody else probably can though.
Yep.
Yep. It also allows you like transfer action economy within that scope as well, where you can give the resources, the cards to your fighter on a turn where they need them to play a weapon or an event because you're bogged down by enemies, or to your clue getter because there are no enemies for you to deal with, and they can spend their actions doing their job that need to be done instead of
clicking cash 3 times and passing the turn.
Yep.
Yeah. And like if you're one of those people who, as Travis was saying, because economy is boring, if your economy bores you and you don't want to run too many, if you're like able to run like a Faustian or a Deep Knowledge to get those short up, but then also look at like active economy, right? Like you can look at things like there's Unearth the Ancients and Seeker, right? Which allows you to get a clue, but also put like the upgraded version, the level 2. Yes, the level. I don't talk about the level 0 one. The level 2 one, right? It lets you like put stuff out there while also advancing the game.
Yeah.
And it's just really good for that. Like I myself, I always will grab eCash 2 because I just think it's very efficient for what it does, and I like for that, even though it is boring. But that's kind of like find the economy that you like, and you'll find like the balance with that.
Yeah, economy is boring, but not playing the game is even more boring.
It's even more boring. It's true. All right, next one here we got Sharons Oble and Key of Ys. These are like the only cards that we've kind of soft banned at our table.
Dude, I'm bringing Sharons Oble in this fucking Dexter deck.
I'm gonna let you die.
So
I'm gonna discard it.
You can't.
Fuck. No! Could you imagine right on the first line, I'll discard the Sharons Oble, and then it's like, wait a minute. Oh, God.
You want to look up what permanent, what that ability does for me?
We banned these ones because we feel like with Key of Ys, it was pretty simple because it was so good, especially when it was only 5 experience, that it was just like the race to who wanted to buy it first. So we were just like, this card doesn't exist just for simplicity's sake.
It also made the game very unfun for the other people in the game.
Yeah.
Because you were just the best at everything.
Yeah, like, I mean, we probably wouldn't play with it if we played on harder difficulties, but we don't.
Yeah.
Because
our harder difficulty is just fucking us up in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, our harder difficulties is like no core set cards and only cards from these 3 sets that you did not actually get to pick all 3 of.
Yeah, and you get to the end and you're like, where is my money?
Yeah. So, like, you know, we're kind of making the game harder for ourselves other ways. But if you were playing on higher difficulties, like, Key of Ys feels very fair because it's just so much harder to do anything.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we still sometimes bring Key of Ys, because I think you brought it to something once recently.
It's mostly a for fun thing.
Yeah, and then I also did it in...
15 experience and nothing to do with it.
Yeah. When I did it, and I brought it in my Daniela deck when in that Scarlet Keys run. So, like, we still do it. But Sharons Oble has not, like, seen play since the first time.
Yeah.
And a big reason for that, I think, at least for us, is that... we like to work as a team and win together, right? But then as soon as Sharons Oble's involved, it tips the scales, right? Because as you say, if you die to Sharons Oble, like you're kind of like on your own. But like we can't, like we don't really want to have that person just like die and lose it all.
Honestly, it kind of falls under the same category as when we're talking about the Sled Dogs in Gym, where it forces your decisions on your teammates. It forces them to play around the Sharons Oble, and if they choose not to and just like let you die and suffer the consequences of your actions, they also have to suffer them because now they have an investigator who doesn't have any experience on the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They also get to suffer for your poor choices.
You know, I don't play with it because if somebody, like if one of you guys, or Eric or whatever, anyone really, brought it and was like, "Protect me, Squire," I'd be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, no, it's the same with me too. I figure
you figure that out.
As soon as you take Sharons Oble,
you did that.
Like it's one of those things where like I want to let you, but I also like I know that if we lose you, we're losing
so much
like,
value.
Yeah, like probably like 8 additional experience on top of the 30 experience you have.
No, I think that card should be templated like the tarot card that does that, where like if you survive, you get an extra XP, but if you don't, then you get like 2 less or whatever, right? Like, I think that would be a much more fun
experience from that.
Sure, yeah. Even like, you know, more extreme. But I think that would be a much more fun way to have that card work than you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. But that's okay. I don't actually need it to work.
Yeah. I mean, it's also one of those things, at least at our table, we're also not like XP hungry. I can't imagine doing something with that experience. Because it's just like, I think
these days, like if I was playing through Dunwich, maybe, because like there's a couple of scenarios where if I die, the game's over anyway. So
well, this is kind of back when I think they were looking at
it would make
the
the train
exceptional
way
cards.
more stressful.
Yeah, it would make the train
would be so. You'd be like, I'm playing last every turn.
Yeah.
Also, why did they choose that effect for a card named Sharons Oble? It would have made a lot more sense for like a sword-shaped pendant named the Sword of Damocles or something like that, other than the coin you give the River Keeper. It's not, or the River Rower
You're
guy.
stealing them from other people. They're like, I'm dead and I have money to pay the guy, and you're like, give me that. I'll kill you again. And they're like, can he do that? I don't know.
But then why do you die when you...
Because eventually the river...
You have all these coins?
Eventually the ferryman police catch up with you and they're like...
Yeah, you took all those coins. You're only supposed to have one.
Yeah, like, but you better put those down.
Yep.
Anyway.
It's like in Hades when you steal from the shop and he's like, hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. On to our last one here, which is kind of the first one we had, and it's kind of like the
culmination.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thesis of the whole video, which is just not being able to do your job. What this means is if you say, I will handle enemies, or I will get clues.
This also feels like a personality.
that's why I'm saying clues, because slight spoilers, it is really funny to see the inverse happen in Hemlock Vale.
Clues? No.
I mean, honestly, having Bryn yell at Travis being like, you can't get one clue, I was like, something's happened here. But basically, like, not being able to do your job, and saying you're going to do these things, but then not being able to, like, sucks. Yeah. Like...
Oh, that would be a funny, like, have to commit to the bit, but, like, we all change our hairstyles, wear different clothes, we get a Mirror Dark campaign.
Yeah.
We're all playing, like, I'm only playing good cards and, like, nothing else, like, hyper-efficient deck. Travis is out here, like, messing around with Sled Dogs, and he's like, I only need 3 more cards, and then my deck is perfect.
Yeah, my deck is an Ursula deck using Sled Dogs to move around and uncover as many locations as I can to play that stupid 5 experience Dunwich Seeker card lets you get one from all the locations.
Let's go.
And then try and play that as many times as I can.
Yeah.
The eidetic memory, because it's an insight and stuff.
Yeah, just keep it going.
Get a different intro and, you know, whatever.
We all sit in. That would be.
We're all sitting
be a little,
in different places.
Yeah, that would be a little bit fricked up.
It would be like
I couldn't handle sitting in a different place.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Bryn and I switched, but you've been there since like 2017, I
Forever.
think. Yeah. But yeah, so this includes things like having a weapon to deal with enemies. Like, there are times when it's not your fault. Just the mulligan happens and you get there.
Yeah, that happens.
If it happens like once, that's fine. If it's happening every scenario, that's gonna pet peeve me a little bit.
Here's scenario 3, you're the Seeker, and you draw a monster, you're like, hey, can you deal with this? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like in the Hemlock campaign, it's scenario 3, and like, it's turn 7, you're gonna get any clues? And I'm like, no. I have to play 4 more assets.
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
There's like a there's one meme that's stuck with me from the get-go. That's from older days in ARKHAM. I mean, it's probably like 3 years ago at this point. But it's the flower from Cuphead being like yelling, and it's like when the Seeker can't find clues. And the Guardian when the Seeker can't find clues, and it's the flower going like this and being honest, and it's like the Guardian, I can't find my weapon, you know? Like, I don't know where my weapon is.
Yeah.
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 It's just it's kind of like the just do your job. That's what really it all comes down to.
Yeah, that's what all these are.
Yeah.
Just like show up and do the thing you told the people you're playing with you're gonna do.
Yeah, you don't need to like crush it. You don't need to be like boring, hyper efficient. You don't need to just swing the hammer, right? You don't need to have like an infinite like ancient stone deduction or archaic glyphs deduction loop, right? You don't need to do that. You can do it with inefficient cards. You can build around things that are crazy. Just make sure you're doing your job, right?
That's why I just tell people I can't do any. Like, I'm gonna build a deck that does nothing.
I mean, that's fine. I'll play the Kluger and just kill the monsters.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It has switched though, because Bryn always used to be the monster killer.
Yeah.
But then like Bryn used all the weapons, and now at this point there's nothing left to kill with. Just Sled Dogs.
Like I never played with like the flamethrower. I think because it seems like kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna play with a 5 experienced firearm, it's gonna be a shotgun.
I wanna.
It's 4.
No, it's not. If it's green.
Okay. Yeah, the green one's 5, but.
Yeah, I have a bunch of ideas that are playing with cards that I've never really built around before that I'm excited to try and see if we can make them work. So I'm gonna seek the next time we play.
We are very fortunate, like as our play group, to have 3 people.
Yes.
And that we can have one person says they're gonna get the clues, one person says they're gonna fight the monsters, the other person gets to like be responsible and fill in the gaps if they need to.
Yeah.
Or can tweak their decks to make up for it.
Because even, I mean, like, realistically, even with all, like, the memeing aside about, like, the Lily Sled Dog deck, like,
that's like deck of all time.
I do think that is a little bit of a, it gets a little bit of leeway because it is the draft challenge, right? Like, if Bryn did, like, brought that exact deck to us doing a full collection run, it would be a lot more, like...
Bryn did relent and buy the hammer eventually.
Yes. But like even like in those moments where like the one person who is like, I'm just here vibing, I'm just being with you guys,
like a Haku deck.
like we're still doing stuff, like we still like work. Yeah, because Echo Deck's a good example. Because
Speaking of, do you want me to bring the Priest of Two Faiths so that I can put a curse into the thing every round and you can just put a bless into the thing every round? Because that could be my ally.
oh, that seems kind of fun.
That could be
It
a
does seem
thing.
good.
Yeah,
could be a
let's do that.
thing.
I mean, I'm going to be dying on scenario 4, so I'm not getting too emotionally attached to my Kohaku deck. But like that Kohaku deck's a great example because you actually like weren't great at like either of the jobs, but you supported the team so much in other ways, right? And like that's kind of like where you do your job, it's gone. I got rid of it. That's where it kind of like comes in, right? Like sometimes your job is just help other people thrive, right?
Yeah, you can play a bit of support. Like you just need to do something.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back very soon for some more Arkham Horror content. And we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye!